can sue over anything. You don't necessarily have to have a case to sue.
That's true.
Right? Like I could sue Greg over being too Jewish. Now, I probably won't win, but I could definitely do it.
Why do you think you wouldn't win that?
Well, I mean, it depends. If I get that case down in the South, locking that one in the bag. So.
Well, I think you could call his mom as a witness. That would be a shoo-in.
God, it's about time someone called her because she's so mad at me because I never do.
History Defeats Itself is a comedy podcast. Kevin, John, and Greg are not experts, historians, or even all that smart.
Hello and welcome to History Defeats Itself. My name is Kevin Rosenquist. Thank you for joining us. History Defeats Itself is a comedy podcast that wonders, why do we never learn from our history? As always, I am joined by two men who are not technically out of the running to be the next James Bond, John Banks and Greg Mitchell. How you guys doing?
Good. We also, neither of us are actually on the U.S. terrorist watch list. So there are two things. Well,
There's
not
a
under
lot of
Looked in the mirror lately, John?
not under our given names. Some aliases for sure.
I'm pretty sure anyone with a beard that long is on the list.
I mean, it's interesting that people go to the terrorist thing because, like, you know, I think more like maybe I play a banjo. You don't know. Maybe why don't you make that assumption? Why do you got to assume I'm a terrorist?
Because I don't think you can play the banjo.
So you think I'm more capable of murder? I'm more capable of mass murder than I am of learning how to play the banjo.
Mass murder is a lot faster. I mean, like,
true.
if you think about it, like, I mean, the amount of time it would take you to learn the banjo, you don't have that kind of commitment.
That's true. Well, I'm not going to learn how to fly a plane either. So.
Neither did those guys very well.
True.
Greg, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much. I just got lost in that little conversation you guys were having, and I'm just wondering how I would peg John. Well, I don't mean peg John. I mean, as a terrorist or a banjo player. And you know what? That beard is starting to kind of grow at me and him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of starting to dig it a little bit.
I'm happy with it. So. And
and now after, I don't know, years, your fiance is finally on board, so you're going to keep it.
9 months. It took her 9 months.
Took her 9 months.
Yeah. She liked it for the first. She likes the first 3 month growth. Like that was fine, and then then there was like a 6 month period where she absolutely hated it. So, but she was supportive, and always telling me that she hated it. So,
Well, at least you got feedback.
I did. She would text me and she'd be like, "Hi, John. This is Courtney."
Your fiance.
Your fiance. I don't like your beard.
Have you shaved your beard yet?
Yeah.
Love Courtney, your fiance. Follow us on social media.
Wait.
What?
How are you, Kev?
How are you, Kevin?
How are you doing, Kev?
I'm great. It's hot in my office.
People
It's
want to
very hot.
know. People want to know how you're doing.
People do want to know.
Right?
I get it all the time. People
That's why
ask me all the time how I'm doing.
There you
You
go.
know, people at like the grocery store, on the phone. People are always asking me how I'm doing,
I think it's just a common pleasantry.
and I always lie and say, "Great."
Yeah.
What can I say that it will make this conversation end immediately?
Right.
You know what you should do sometimes when someone says, "How are you?" Be like, "Have you picked up? Have you read the news?
No.
Have you read the news lately? It's not great."
Do you know
Have
what
you
it's
been
like
on
to
Earth?
be?
The last 10 years.
What's that?
I said, have you been on Earth the last 10 years?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been awkward.
Social media. Go ahead, Kevin. Do our social media plugs.
Oh yeah. I thought you were saying that's the problem. It kind of is. That actually
Yeah.
kind of worked both ways there.
Yep.
Yes, we are on social media. We are on Instagram and TikTok, and all these episodes are on YouTube as video podcasts. So check us out there. Follow, subscribe, send us love letters,
Just like us.
dress like us,
Make videos on
grow
TikTok.
beards,
Hashtag
make
us.
videos as us on TikTok, and hashtag us, please.
Yes.
We're
Go to
begging you
our
to do
OnlyFans-
that.
Make OnlyFans videos of us.
Yes.
As us.
Yes.
As us,
Create
yeah, and
deep fakes. We want to be deep faked.
Yeah. If you want to deep fake the three of us having hot sex together, we're okay with that. Just make sure you hashtag history defeats itself.
And please, if you can, if you have a choice of background, make it a very lovely cabin in Vermont, because we've always kind of wanted to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, but make sure there's a nice fire going in the background because
Yes.
I get cold.
Yeah, and don't make it in the middle of summer when it's all buggy. Like make it more like the
Yeah.
winter where we can do a fire and
I don't want humidity. I'm not comfortable with my nudity and humidity.
Is it a sweaty, sticky
No, it's
thing? Or
It's too dewy.
You're not going to like it either.
It's called the Mountain Dew.
I've got some really, really, really bad images in my head right now. All right. Anyway, okay. It's my turn to lead the crew tonight. So let's get after it. The 1970s. Bell bottoms flooded the streets. Disco dominated the airwaves. And perhaps most importantly, the three of us were born. But another important event happened in 1973, the Arab oil embargo, which led to fuel shortages and skyrocketing gas prices across the globe. Arab oil-producing nations initiated the embargo in 1973 as a response to Western nations' support for Israel during the Yom Kippur War. If anyone out there is unfamiliar with what an embargo is, it's an official ban on trade with a specific country or group of countries. In this case, the whole Western world. Yes, John.
What is Yom Kippur?
Greg?
Yom Kippur is the holiday where you're meant to atone. You're meant to fast and atone. So you reflect back upon all of the wrongs that you've done, and hopefully you don't reinforce and try and repeat them. You kind of make mental notes and think about how you're going to change, and maybe contact a person that you've just not been very kind to for one reason or another, and try to patch.
And I would
things
say
up.
after 17 years, Greg has never called me once on Yom Kippur. Not once. And he certainly could. Pick up the phone.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like one of the 12 steps, huh? Like you have to apologize for past deeds. That's sort of what it is.
It's weird that when I do call him, though, it phone automatically goes right to voicemail. So
Oh, hold on. Greg's calling. let me just hit.
I gotta click decline real quick. What do you know? I didn't honestly, admittedly, look up the Yom Kippur War because it has nothing to do with this episode. But do you know what that is, Greg?
just because I'm Jewish, I'm supposed to know every
I know what that
fucking
is.
Jewish
You
war.
did a really good job explaining Yom Kippur, so I thought maybe you knew what the war was.
Guess what, asshole? This is your episode.
What did I? All right, he's very sensitive.
You're very defensive. I don't really care. I don't know what it is.
That's all you had to say. You horse's ass.
Finally, we
Whoa.
know why Greg's always an asshole because he doesn't know anything.
I don't know. God, I thought that was known that I don't know anything.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
an
actually,
asshole just for the fun of that.
All right, so the embargo.
Do you guys know what the war on Christianity
yeah.
or the war on Christmas?
Yeah.
Well, I guess
well,
everyone knows what
it's
that
part
is.
of the same war.
Yeah,
Now you're just talking
really.
about battles. Like the war in Christianity is the whole thing. I think it was the Battle of Christmas. is
Okay,
what
it was a
you're thinking
rhetorical
of.
question.
The Battle of Christmas.
The Battle of Christmas. Pick a side.
Santa or Jesus?
Yes.
Who's picking Jesus there? My God.
Well, I mean, as an adult, like I would rather have wine than whatever Santa's gonna bring me.
That is well. What if we can make it so Santa brings us wine? Santa, if you really want us on your side, make you with the whiny.
Yeah, but Santa's only gonna bring you to once a year. With Jesus, he's gonna be like I'm sure like that when he makes bread, it's probably like somehow gluten and carb free. So
but
I
still
think I'm-
delicious.
right, you
I'm
can't eat
taking-
bread all the time and have those apps. So
That's true.
I'm taking Santa every time. That guy's like super jolly, and Jesus
Yeah.
is such a fucking passive aggressive martyr.
Yeah, I'm still taking Santa.
was he?
I'm still taking Santa. Yeah,
He's super passive aggressive.
Santa's got all the elves too. They seem fun.
Yeah,
You know,
and he's got a fucking wood shop or toy
and a
shop.
sleigh. He flies in the air.
He has
Jesus
flying
has
reindeer.
Santa.
Bird.
Candy. He's got a lot of candy.
A lot of candy canes. I'm not a
And
big candy
apparently-
cane guy, but he's got them.
Yeah. Well,
does.
but he does chocolates as well. Cookies,
That's true.
milk.
He likes cookies and milk.
Yeah.
What's Jesus like?
Bread and wine.
That's what I thought. Pretty basic.
Long talks.
All right,
No
so the
road.
embargo led to a significant reduction in oil supplies, causing global oil prices to skyrocket. Fuel shortages led to long lines at gas stations across the United States. My
Remember
parents
those?
have talked about what a crazy time that was when they had to wait in like these crazy lines just to get gas.
Do they call it a crazy? Are they like, it was a crazy time? Is that
I don't know, John.
All right.
You want me to get him on the horn?
You said they talk about it. So now you're saying you don't know how they talk about
I
it.
said they have talked about it. I didn't say when. Could have been when I was 8.
You're like, I wasn't
Jesus.
there. Someone told me that they had talked about it.
Kevin's a real dick the way he's sharing information. I do not like his attitude about this.
His overall tone is just arrogance.
Anytime you ask him anything about anything, he gets
Yeah.
mad.
I'm
He's
very
like,
sweaty.
how should
It's
I
very
fucking
warm
know?
in here.
How should I know about the words I just said?
Yeah. You guys are missing the point. We're not here to talk about Yom Kippur.
So the crisis highlighted the vulnerability of the industry, which had primarily focused on producing large gas-guzzling vehicles. With fuel now more expensive and less readily available, demand surged for smaller, fuel-efficient vehicles.
Toyota
This
Corona.
helped fuel the
Honda
rise.
Civic.
You see what I did there? Of Japanese car manufacturers. Brands like Toyota and Honda were gaining a reputation for compact, fuel-efficient, and affordable cars, challenging the American car industry's dominance. Lee Iacocca, then the president of Ford, was determined to compete with these Japanese imports with a fuel-efficient, lightweight, and affordable car, which brings us to today's topic, the Ford Pinto.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
AKA the Mustang 2.
Yeah.
AKA don't ruin me.
And that is what we're talking about. So you know something about this, which is fun. Yeah, that's
Boomers.
kind of what happened.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So Iacocca's guiding principle for the Pinto was that the car should not weigh over 2,000 pounds or cost over $2,000.
I like that.
For perspective, the average weight of a compact car today is 2,500 to 3,000 pounds. And in 1970, the average cost of a new car was $3,500. So this was, I mean, if you think about it, technology's come a long way. Everything gets lighter, and it's a tall ask to get the under 2,000 for both
But
of those.
Lee Iacocca, he did give us the minivan. So
Did he really? I did not know that. That's
he saved Chrysler.
with the
Yeah.
Dodge Dodge Caravan.
That is it.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yep.
God bless him.
His salary was his salary when he went because
God
Chrysler.
damn it, it's Kevin's episode.
I know, but just as Chrysler asked him to come, they offered him $1, he told him he wanted $1 a year salary, but a shit ton of their stock.
Mhm.
And so when he started, like their stock was under $1, and by the time the like 5-6 years into the Dodge Caravan, he was definitely
He's like, I want you to fill up this minivan of stock. With stock. That's how I'm getting paid.
Stock like nylon stockings. It's the future.
He accidentally
right.
got paid in stocking instead of stock.
These constraints set the stage for a vehicle design process where cost and weight cutting were prioritized, even at the expense of safety considerations. So let's talk about the car. The Pinto was officially released on September 11th, 1970, but it wasn't until the oil embargo of 1973 when more Americans were wanting fuel-efficient cars, and then it became a lot more popular. The Pinto, do you know how it got its name?
Well, I'm assuming because the Pinto is the piece of shit horse compared to the Mustang. So
That it is. You're right.
Yeah.
I wondered if you guys knew that, and it is. It's just a smaller horse, and
Yeah.
so they named it, Pinto.
I thought it was named after the pinto bean because it's
Well,
shaped like a pinto bean.
That is one of the funny things. Is like there were plenty of pinto bean jokes made about the car, and if you're making a cheap car, maybe don't. Maybe
the
think
Pinto,
about that.
The Pinto bean and the Pinto car were both explosive.
That is true. That is true. Although the pinto bean is explosive later after you eat it.
I like the
And
way
most-
John said that actually because he said pinto bean is explosive. It was good delivery.
Good.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad we had that recap.
Yeah,
All right.
That was,
I'm going to point out stuff like that from now on.
That's your new role.
I think that
My
was
new
the
role.
weirdest. That was the weirdest moment we've had in 3 years.
You think so?
Yeah. And there's been
No,
some
I
weird
don't.
ones.
I don't know, man. We did that taxes episode.
No, that was boring. But this was weird and
I'm-
uncomfortable.
I'm looking up images right now of the Ford Pinto, And it's
It's
just
not
as
a
awesome.
terrible looking car.
It's just as awesome as I remember.
I don't think it's a terrible looking car. It's not great, but it's
We had
not
back-
as bad as you might picture it to be.
We
It's
had
that back window that's just so badass and identifiable.
Yeah.
So,
We had a baby blue one.
so as John said, it was named after a breed of horse. But in Brazil, they changed the name to Corcel, which means horse, because in Brazilian Portuguese, the word pinto is slang for male genitals.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
So
not
that's
great.
not great. And they also had to structure their marketing campaign in Spain carefully, since pinto is a colloquial term for little male chicken.
Ford Pinto. It's
Or tiny
Brazilian.
cock.
Dick. Come drive a dick. Be a man.
Roughly 1 million Pintos were sold between 1970 and 1974, and it's estimated that around 3 million total were sold in its 10-year run. But, as Greg pointed out briefly earlier, there was a design flaw. The fuel tank was positioned behind the rear axle and had a pronounced tendency to rupture in rear-end collisions. Furthermore, the fuel filler neck, which connected the gas cap to the tank, could tear away in crashes and allow fuel to spill all over the place. The problem was made worse by the placement of bolts on the differential and the rear bumper, which in a rear-end collision could potentially puncture the fuel tank and cause the car to, John,
Explode.
into a burst
and
of
another
flames.
thing a lot of people don't know is that in every seat of a Ford Pinto, they also had a Bunsen burner that had natural gas running to it that was constantly running and could spark and blow up. So,
Well, it was made for scientists initially. Scientists on the go.
And instead of airbags, they just had dynamite.
and spikes. They were the things that came out.
We're not going to save you. We're just going to make it real quick. We're going to make the death really quick.
Yeah.
And also, if you roll down the window, you'll notice that cyanide tablets fall out of the ceiling and right into your mouth.
Would you rather be paralyzed in a Pinto or die?
Yeah.
And if you think that the manual is going to save you, as soon as you open up, puff of anthrax in your face.
I just wanted to change the oil.
Yeah. I
Lee
just wanted to know
Iacocca.
how to set the clock.
Then later you get hungry, so you order a pizza, and Lee Iacocca shows up and he punches you in the face.
He just punches you in the dick.
No, in the Pinto.
Yeah.
He punches you in the Pinto. Yes.
This punch brought to you by Pinto.
So the number of Ford Pintos that actually caught fire or exploded as a result of the design flaw has been a matter of considerable debate. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration initially investigated 38 cases of rear impact fire-related fatalities involving Pintos. However, this doesn't account for all the incidents of fires that didn't result in fatalities or for accidents that weren't officially reported or investigated.
Or
case
fires that was started because people were just sick of driving their fucking Pinto.
for to collect insurance money.
Oh no, my Pinto's on fire.
Hey, you heard about the Pinto thing, right? Happened to me. Make the money.
You're out there hitting the back fender with a sledgehammer. It's gonna blow up. It's gonna blow up.
Somebody make this motherfucker blow up.
It's so weird that my ex-wife is behind the wheel.
Don't pay attention to the fact that she's handcuffed to the steering wheel.
That's just part of the Pinto design.
That's another part of the Pinto design.
And it's driving off a cliff.
Again, another part. It was early GPS. So one might ask, why were these design choices made? Well, 3 reasons. Iacocca's request to keep the car under 2,000 pounds and under $2,000, the rush to production, and the pressure to cut costs significantly. It is important to remember, though, or to know, that the Pinto did meet all existing federal safety standards at the time. But after...
Well, their
Go ahead.
hands are clean.
Yeah,
At that point.
No. But
Well, it was
after
a low standard. At that time, it was, you just had to have a steering wheel. You couldn't drive the car with just the little rod.
Did anybody test the Pinto yet? It's got 4 tires. Check mark. Let's go.
Solid.
Send it to production. But after crash tests conducted by Ford, some engineers raised concerns. Because in these tests, vehicles were typically crashed into a fixed barrier at 20 miles per hour. And according to reports, In several of these tests, the fuel tanks of the Pintos ruptured, which could cause fuel leakage and potentially result in fire.
A lot of people don't know that Dave Matthews song "Crash Into Me" is about the Ford Pinto. So,
God, that's becoming a history defeats itself.
John's Dave Matthews obsession.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it. I like it way more than I like Dave Matthews.
Does he still release music, or does he just tour on whatever he's got?
I think he just scats.
into me.
Into me, man.
Scooby-Doo.
And I come num into you. Yeah. Here at History Defeats Itself, we know how to scat.
Both
Actually-
shitting on you and musically.
We're not bad at it.
Yep.
Shitting on you musically. Ford ultimately decided to keep the car as is despite the concerns, and the reason they did this was because they ran a cost-benefit analysis.
Oh, it always comes down to the dollars and cents.
Have you guys heard about the Ford Pinto memo?
No.
Guessing.
Oh, you guys said it at the exact same time.
Yay, John. Twins.
No, but it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be how human life doesn't matter.
It's a really good synopsis. Mine's much longer.
Honestly, most memos are bad. Have you ever gotten a memo and you're like, yay, I got a memo.
What? Yeah, I got a memo and it's like, oh, your salary increased by 60%. Yeah, no, never got that memo.
Well, guess what? We all got an extra week of vacation.
Yeah.
Nope.
We took your car and replaced it with something nicer.
Nope. That didn't
Take
happen.
your Ford Pinto and place it with a Toyota Corona.
Hey, we found a cure for your IBS.
Oh man, that'd be nice.
That'd be a nice memo.
Well, could they figure that out? Oh, where are the doctors? Why are they not working on this night and day? All right. In what became known as the Ford Pinto memo, Ford outlined their cost-benefit analysis. The analysis was based on making changes to all of Ford's cars and trucks, because apparently if they were going to make a change, they had to do it across the board. So the cost of implementing the design changes were estimated at $11 per vehicle, amounting to a total cost of $137 million, based on the 12.5 million cars and trucks on the road at the time. Then the analysis showed the potential cost of not making the design changes. The report assumed 2,100 burned cars, 180 serious burn injuries, and roughly 180 burn deaths. Using values of 200,000 per death, 67,000 per serious injury, and 700 per burn vehicle, the estimated benefit of not making the changes was calculated to be about $49.5 million, which is considerably less than it would have cost to make the change. So Ford opted not to make any changes, despite knowing that this was a distinct possibility that people could die, and putting profits over human
Right. So
life.
the answer to the question is yes. Which the question is, can you put a price on human life? Yes,
They did.
That's a good
They
point.
did.
Yeah. Very, very mathematical exact price. At least they were saving $2 million a person, right, or something like that. So, I mean, that's good to know that I'm worth $2 million.
Don't you think
No,
if you're
200,000. 200,000.
No,
Do
but
you
I'm
think
talking about the
most-
difference between the 50 million and 137 million.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Don't you think most people that are driving a Ford Pinto don't really care that much if they die or not?
Yes, because that is all people who can't afford anything nice don't care if they live or die.
No,
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with price. I'm
Everybody
sure there are
knows
other
that.
cheap
It's just
options
the
out
Ford
there.
Pinto in particular.
That in particular.
Yeah, they could have gone with one of the Honda or the Toyota
No,
or
it's true.
something.
They should have.
And the
I bet
Ford
they wish
Pinto,
it
the Ford Pinto did come with a revolver in the dash to shoot yourself with.
Jesus.
It's a Ford.
It's got dark fast.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just the different ways that Ford doesn't want you to live. So,
I get it.
yeah. That's not making fun of.
Doesn't make it any lighter, John.
No, yeah, you're not helping,
Yeah,
but that's
okay.
okay.
Good point.
All right. Wait, I don't know. How to follow that. All right.
I think we stop and fire me. I think that's what we have to do now. I got to do
So-
public apology, and then I got to go.
So this lawsuit, this memo, I lost my place. Oh, So the memo became public knowledge during a civil lawsuit in 1977 against Ford over a fatal accident involving a Pinto. The plaintiff's lawyer, Mark Dowie, obtained the cost-benefit analysis during the discovery process of the lawsuit, which is funny that memo was just chilling somewhere. Dowie later shared this information with Mother Jones magazine, which published a scathing article called Pinto Madness in its September-October 1977 issue.
So real quick,
then everybody knew about it because apparently everyone read Mother Jones back then.
Yeah, I didn't know that Mother Jones was that old.
Yeah.
I didn't. I thought Mother Jones was like a post 2000 thing. I honest to God.
No, it's like a hippie name.
I didn't know that.
Can you imagine if this happened like during social media times, like how quickly that would become viral, and then how quickly no one would care anymore? Ford could have kept selling the Pintos.
Yeah, you
like,
forget
people
really
still
fast.
dying for that.
It would literally go. It would be like, oh my God, people are dying. To people making videos of them blowing up their Pintos, right? Like that's the arc of that.
And then something would happen with Kim Kardashian. Everybody would forget all about the Pinto.
Or she would, right? She would do. They would change the Pinto model to go from like trashy to like this $150,000 car. That Kardashian, sponsors or whatever.
I remember hearing about this this technology for table saws where they had this like laser beam that you could attach to it. So because a lot of people obviously have accidents, cut off fingers and hands and shit like that, pushing wood through and too fast. They had these lasers.
You almost did that, as I recall.
I probably have because I like to use power tools when I'm drunk. So apparently
told that story on here.
if you
Why he drinks.
if your hand goes past, if your fingers go past this laser beam, it would automatically stop the saw blade, and it was impossible to cut yourself or cut off an appendage or something like that. But the cost of it was so high, and their liability was so low that they decided not to incorporate that into their tools because money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird, and I'm sure, and that's what I think is like crazy.
I think they were smart enough not to make a memo, though.
Well, but I think it's like because you were talking about,
but you know about it.
The cost. I think Kevin, you said it's going to be $11 more per car to make.
No,
it.
so it was it was $11 more per car.
$11.
Yes.
So I would imagine, like Ford may not put a value or put a very low value. I would pay an extra $11 not to die, right? Like it's totally my life for sure. I will pay you $11 more than I was going to not die.
Even in $1973.
Yeah.
And that's the fucked up part. Yeah, I agree. That's the fucked up part. But I think, obviously that's that was the talking point for the lawsuits and all that. But, having to go back through the design process was probably equally as much of a reason why they did not do it, because then they'd have to go back, redo it, probably pull all the Pintos off the market that had already been made, and figure out how to make that happen. And that's it was just like no, we got to compete with those damn Asians now.
Yeah,
I could see Iacocca saying something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I just picked him to be
You just really
to be a total racist against Asian people, but I did. He's dead. Who cares?
His grandchildren.
Wait, Leah Iacocca's dead?
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, the guy who put profits over human life is dead. Yes. Aw. What a
I don't
bummer.
think it was him. It was probably the whole company.
Yes, but hey, when you're the head guy,
Yeah,
it kind of falls on you, bud.
Do you
Is
think
that why he moved to
buried him?
Chrysler?
He did? Yeah, he went to Chrysler in like 1985.
Yeah, no, it was well after that, but I don't know. Maybe he was getting out of there. I have no idea. That was not in my notes. You tell me.
Fine.
Does it have anything to do with Yom Kippur?
It sure does.
It has a lot to do with the Lee Iacocca War of 1973.
Wait, if somebody needed to atone for something, it was Lee.
Yeah, he had some stuff to atone for, no doubt about that. All right, so a couple of the crashes and lawsuits that happened in the case of Grimshaw versus the Ford Motor Company, a Ford Pinto driven by Lily Gray stalled on a California freeway and was subsequently rear-ended by another car traveling at about 30 miles per hour. The Pinto's fuel tank ruptured and the car burst into flames. She died from her injuries the next day. The passenger, 13-year-old Richard Grimshaw, was severely burned and disfigured. The case is particularly significant because it led to a landmark punitive damages award against Ford. The jury awarded Richard Grimshaw $2.5 million in compensatory damages for his extensive injuries and burns. One of the things that I read said that he's still trying to have an ear again or something like that. Like crazy.
terrible.
Like,
Yeah.
he was really fucked up by this thing. So I don't know. 2.5 mil is really
That's like people
healing.
who survive burns, like severe burns like that, man. I like, because the recovery is basically, they have to basically scrub you down every day. So they're just every day they have to scrub your body so you don't get an infection, and it hurts. It's like, when you get a scab, like, or you scrub it, just like with your wire brush, if you just scrub your body every day. Like, I don't know how people. I would much rather die than survive.
Absolutely, man. It's just that's the worst for me. That's the biggest scare. I don't want to be burned.
Mm-mm.
I burn myself in the oven, and I'm like a little bitch about it.
yes, absolutely.
You guys just gave me the heebie-jeebies, man. John, the way he was describing
that was
burns.
a really, really descriptive statement that John just made. I agree. Like that was
because I really want people
profound.
to like. That's just like what you have to go through after that. It's insane, and it's about a year of pain. So I had a buddy that was or not. I worked with a
John
guy.
burns a lot of people. So he knows.
I don't. Well, I mean, emotionally, I burn them emotionally and financially. Don't loan me money. That's
I'm an arsonist.
Yeah.
I'm a people arsonist.
No, I worked with this.
arsonist.
I worked with this dude that got hit by lightning. And he said, well, he was young when it happened. He was like 13 or 14, and he goes, like there was part of me that was really hoping I was gonna have superpowers when I was 13. He's like, but that's not how lightning works. And he goes, like I was in pain for like a year and a half because it like fried it fucked up his nerve endings, and so basically they had to heal. I know,
That's
right?
terrible.
Yeah. Like the things people don't talk about.
Yeah, I wonder why
on podcasts, on comedy podcasts.
This is why we should just keep talking about things like pegging and shitting and masturbating.
I'm sorry.
I think that scars and doesn't leave you either.
Pegging.
Yeah. It depends on your feelings on it, I guess.
Hey, John, did you notice Kevin's getting more red?
See, I told you I'm going to get red throughout. It's the drinking and the heat.
That's because he's being pegged as we speak.
I've got a pegging chair.
God.
It's
no bottom on it.
It's a Peggy.
It's a Peggy.
God, now I'm getting hot. I'm going to take off my jacket
because it's a talk of pegging. I'm telling you, man. That's how you. If you're ever in a ice storm, just think of pegging and you'll heat up.
How did your drive go? John texted Greg and I earlier today because he was very, very concerned about the fact that he was stuck in the car and had to pee really badly.
I made it to a Denny's.
You made it to a Denny's.
Thank you, Denny's.
Did you get a Grand Slam while you were there?
No, I did not. I did use the bathroom because there was nothing. I was like, I got off the freeway and there was nothing available. It was all like small stores and a Denny's, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, people at Denny's don't care if you use their bathroom.
I don't think so.
They're actually surprised anyone would use their bathroom.
Yeah. Well, and it's not like people drive to the Denny's to go to the bathroom. People are go, oh, I need it, like, because sometimes like I know downtown, every bathroom has a code on it now because of our homelessness. Right. Anyway, kaboom.
Better if homeless people shit in the street.
I mean, which they do. They do. I've seen it many times.
Yeah, so. I've seen it too. Unfortunately, it's not.
So, I mean, and I don't blame them. But like, where are you gonna go?
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. You gotta go. You gotta go.
So, so the jury awarded
Can I
Richard.
tell a pee story?
Do you want to tell a pee story?
Yeah, it happened today.
Okay, let's hear it. Why
so
not?
I was at the gym and I was doing my treadmill workout. And
so basically, he just wanted to tell everybody that he goes to the gym. Right?
I know.
That's what the story's about.
Because that's the only part that makes me look good because everything else is embarrassing. So I was on the treadmill and I'm in a class and there's like 3 stations. There's treadmill, bicycle, and then you do a bunch of floor exercises with kettlebells and all that bullshit. So I'm running on the treadmill and there was like, you did kind of high intensity interval training. So I'm running for 60 seconds and then you kind of stop for 60 seconds and then you run for 60 seconds. And on one of the times I was like,
I know what interval training is.
I'm going to fucking do it. And I went like 9.5 miles an hour. And as I was running, I'm like, God, I feel like I kind of have to pee. And then before I knew it, pee was like floating down through my bladder. And then it was already into my penis. And I put the brakes on. I don't know if you've ever been able to clamp that before. But
I thought you meant on the treadmill.
I was on the treadmill and
No,
I was
I thought
running
you put the brakes on the treadmill.
No, not on the treadmill. No, just on the
I thought
PB.
you were going to go flying. I was
No, I didn't go flying. So it was like I had no control over that, and it started coming out of it tried to escape my body. And somehow or another, like I put a cork in it.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened, but then I had to leave. I'm like, it can only hold so long. And then I came back and everyone kind of looked at me like, hey, what just happened?
You're just like, I peed myself.
I'm like, listen to the podcast to find out.
You came back wearing totally different clothes and
Yeah, exactly. Or the same clothes with a big stain. So that's my pee story.
That's a great pee story.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't in Denny's running on a treadmill.
That actually would have made it a much better story and a much stranger story.
Yeah. Like they don't have them there. I just brought my own treadmill to the dinner.
I'm like, can I set this up? They're like, I don't care.
It's
I'm so
Denny's.
miserable.
No one cares about
I'm
anything.
so miserable.
There's no rules.
As long as you tip me, you son of a bitch.
So the jury awarded Richard Grimshaw $2.5 million in compensatory damages for the extensive injuries and burns, which we talked about. Lily Gray's estate was awarded $559,680.
I was like, that's
That's
my
key.
board was like $600 a person. Not a
I
problem.
can handle this.
Yeah.
And the jury also slapped Ford with a $125 million punitive damage penalty.
Wow.
Which was significant at the time, as it sent a strong message to auto manufacturers about the consequences of prioritizing profits over safety. Now, today, that'd be worth it. 125 million. They'd be like, that doesn't do anything to
Right.
us.
Right.
Keep it coming, like whatever. They'd laugh. It'd be like the fucking Austin Powers scene.
Oh,
that's a timely reference.
Sorry, I thought you said 1.25 billion. I apologize. 125 million.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, 125,000. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, we should not do that again. Yeah, we will definitely make sure that we don't kill any more people.
Yeah. Although it's like cars are pretty crazy safe now.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
because-
they've made pretty big
Yeah.
strides. Yeah.
Well, and it's
They're
just and
crazy
the-
safe.
the things that are required, like the unibody construction and all that, and like there's like seat moves, and there's all this, there's all this shit.
Crumple
that happens.
zones.
Yeah.
Lots of crumple zones.
I think I've heard about crumple zones.
Crumple zones.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Undercoating.
Side airbags.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And now what they do is they don't put one gas tank outside the body of the frame of the car. They put 4 smaller ones. So you have 4 points of impact.
So there's a lot more places for it to explode.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the explosions are much smaller and much safer.
Yeah.
It's actually just kind of entertaining while you're crashing.
They've stopped putting dynamite in the airbag spot, which was a calculated risk. It was,
It was better than lawn dart.
It was.
Yeah.
Hey, those are illegal.
It was the 70s, man.
You know how many people die from lawn darts?
How many?
3. That was it. Just 3.
Was
That's
it 3?
a lot.
Way less than a Pinto.
But that's a lot, though, still.
Well, it's a lot, but
But is it enough to like get rid of lawn darts? I mean, maybe those people were just those people were. I mean, it wasn't like they opened the package and the lawn dart just stabbed them in the eye. You know what I mean? I mean,
I wonder, is Kevin? Do you think Kevin's a big lawn dart? Is he like?
I loved lawn. We had lawn darts as a kid.
He's invested. I wonder, like, you got to be able to find those at garage sales, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I think worse than death from a lawn dart is if it just lands on your foot.
That's worse than death.
I,
think
would take dart to the foot every time.
Yeah,
Not me.
I think I might.
Yeah.
Nope. I want to go through my brain. God, it just seems so uncomfortable going right through your foot.
You're like, I love it. You're like, I want to die because I don't want to have some discomfort.
You're just like, ow, 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 ow.
I wish I were dead. I wish I were dead. I wish
You
I were
ever-
dead.
You ever kick a fucking coffee table
Yeah, no, that.
with your pinky toe?
Oh my god,
Oh,
It's got to
that
be
is
worse than
pain.
that.
That is pain. Yeah.
Death, at least, hopefully, is instantaneous.
Why is that funny?
This is why I'm not into like.
Yeah, that is how you want your death, though, right? Like, you don't want.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
no, who's like, no, sign me up for the long term, like most really painful.
What's the
death.
longest way to die from a lawn dart?
Yeah. Infection, I suppose.
Oh, I guess. Would you rather like it? would you rather, if you knew the date you were going to die, but you could give up 5 years, but you were going to die painfully. So you knew when you were going to die, and you were going to die. So you're going to die at 75 very painfully, or you could die at 70 fast. What would you take?
70 fast, man.
Yeah, I would do the
Yeah,
fast.
yeah, me too.
It's hard when you have
Got
kids, I think, because I feel bad. But Elwood doesn't want to deal with that. I mean,
No, they don't want to hear you complain
bitching
for
all the
5 years.
time. Yeah.
I'm already complaining, so my clock's probably already ticking
Yeah, you're definitely
Yeah.
taking
on the
man.
5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. In the case of Indiana State Police versus Ford, a Pinto carrying 3 teenage girls was struck from behind by a van in Indiana. The Pinto caught fire in the collision, and all 3 girls tragically died. This crash and the subsequent legal case brought the safety of the Pinto into the public eye.
I think it's pronounced subsequent.
Subsequent.
I really thought you were going to correct him on Pinto. So,
It's
I believe
Pinto.
it is pronounced Pinto.
Now is a good time to make jokes, though, when 3 teenage girls die.
Yeah. No, that's good, guys. Well done,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Leading to widespread scrutiny of Ford's decision-making regarding the model's design and safety. So that was the lawsuit that really put it into the public eye, along with the Mother Jones article about the memo and everything else. So
I wonder, because I mean, obviously their math didn't work out, right? Because of the 137 punitive or 125 punitive, right? So their math didn't work out. So then, I wonder if that was also another thing where it wasn't just car companies. Maybe they're not scared of $100 billion now, but they don't know that it'd be $100 billion, right? So what they are scared of is, in other words, it was such a significant impact that it changed the way they do their math, and now their math is okay, it actually makes more sense to fix the problem.
they're like, we don't want to have to hire a new math department.
yeah. That's how you get safety. You just threaten them with more math. So
No one likes math.
nope. We could have ended both world wars if we just would have said.
I think
we're gonna
Kevin
do
likes
more
math because I just saw him reach into his beer cooler and he's probably doing math right now going, okay, I've had 6 beers. This is 7.
I've had
Why-
6 beers. Normally I could drink 8 beers before I pass out, but I did take half an Adderall.
That's got to make him good for. Hey, what kind of beer are you drinking tonight, Kevin?
I've never had an Adderall. Have you guys?
I have. Yeah.
It's
Here's a beer.
it's Avery Hop Freaks. It's delicious beer. If anyone's interested,
Is it super hoppy?
it's not crazy hoppy. It's just really it's hoppy enough. It's the right balance. of
Is it an
hops and
IPA?
malts and- it is.
Yeah.
It
don't
is.
like
It's a
IPAs.
West Coast style IPA. Well, that's because you're dumb.
Yes, that's. Thank you. I just wanted to hear it out loud. So, thank you so much.
Yeah, you can't have your own opinion, John.
I know.
Sorry.
Absolutely not.
Yep. It's not my opinion. It's my mouth's opinion, right? It's not even.
I have spoken. I have spoken.
Okay. I apologize.
Are you drinking Stella? Is that what I saw? Yeah.
Yeah.
You do I like a good Stella.
Yeah, I do too. I'm out of Stella, and I'm like, shit. Should I run and go grab another one? But I don't want weird, awkward silence like we had last time. So we shouldn't leave.
It was only 10 minutes.
It was not, you were so dramatic. You're like, I think it went to silence for 3 minutes. It was 45 seconds.
That is whatever.
You're just dramatic. Greg.
I was laughing when it
Yes, I
happened.
apologize to everybody for leaving that pee break in last episode. I did not mean to do that, but it actually I thought was kind of funny.
Do you want to recreate it?
I told
Ready?
Sheena about it, and
Go.
she laughed heartily. John, you feel free to go grab another beer if you'd like.
No,
Yeah, Kevin and I can keep it going.
I
Yeah,
don't know
we've
that
got
you
this.
can. I know I'll miss stuff. I don't want to miss stuff. Let's keep going.
You know
He's
we're
got
going to talk
FOMO.
about you. That's the problem.
Yeah. No, I know. I heard last time you guys did.
Yeah.
You said
No,
mean
he
things
didn't.
about me.
Greg did. Greg was just bashing us the
You,
whole time.
you certainly
wasn't
didn't stop him, did you, Kevin?
He wasn't in the room.
he? No, I wasn't there.
No, not this past. The one
Oh.
before. The one before.
Oh yeah, no, I probably didn't stop.
Yeah, you were.
What did I do?
I don't want to talk about it right now. Let's just move on.
God, somebody's hurt.
It cuts deep for him, so
I
he
actually
doesn't
can't
want.
remember what you said, but you said something mean. Not funny, because I would have remembered that.
Just straight up mean.
Just mean.
So in the 1960s, the Chevrolet Corvair, which was a compact car, was produced despite issues with its rear-mounted air-cooled engine. It was amazing technology at the time, but it also had issues with handling stability, causing it to flip over during sharp turns.
Sorry.
Can-
Sorry.
Yeah, no,
That's funny.
It is very funny.
Very
Uh,
cartoony.
Yeah.
Boop. Oh no!
Like the Wile E. Coyotes in there. Like consumer safety advocate Ralph Nader wrote a book in 1965 called "Unsafe at Any Speed" about the Corvair. The backlash severely hampered sales and tarnished GM's reputation. And of course, I bring that up because history defeats itself, and Ford might have thought about that that specific situation before deciding on what to do about the Pinto situation.
Right.
I bet you it was safe at 2 miles an hour.
The Corvair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said save at no speed, but I agree. That's a little bit.
He's being dramatic. He's trying to sell books.
Yeah.
I understand he's a consumer advocate.
Well, he also is a very big reason why George Bush beat Al Gore. So let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Wasn't his fault,
Right.
but if he wasn't in there, we probably wouldn't have had 8 years of Bush. So, and Cheney.
It was dangling Chads.
Yep.
It was Chad. It was all Chad's fault.
Yep.
Fucking
Dangling
Chad.
Chads.
It was Chad's always dangling all over the place. Ford also could have taken some, advice from its own issue.
Kevin's cracking me up, man. He's just like sipping his beer, going, and
Is that hoppy? So hoppy.
It's so happy.
it gets it right here.
That hop really fills your mouth. Get that IPA down in you.
It's kind of dry. It's a dry hop.
In the 60s, the early Mustang model came with a relatively primitive suspension that was good for cruising and everyday driving, but not suitable for the high-performance driving the car was marketed for. When driven aggressively, the Mustang had a tendency to spin out and crash. Ford was slow to address the issue.
By the way.
Yeah, Ford was slow to address the issue.
A lot of videos.
Instead, choosing to focus on the Mustang's powerful engine and attractive styling in its marketing. While this certainly wasn't as bad as the Pinto situation, people were pretty pissed, and Ford could have remembered this before they put out the fiery Pinto.
The fiery Pinto. Fiery Pinto actually would be very good marketing. Like if you just heard fiery Pinto, you wouldn't think maybe you'd be like, oh, that's amazing, but it's fast, right?
Also, the name of our Spanish rock band.
Quite literal.
It's very literal, but
Pinto de Fiesta.
And every song is about beans. With their hit, Beans Make Me Gassy. It's Fiery Pinto.
I can't believe they did a song called Garbanzo. That doesn't seem like them at all.
Doesn't work.
Our chickpeas beans.
Our chickpeas beans. Da-da-da-da-da. Our chickpeas beans. Da-da-da. That's our every song is just
legumes.
Every song is just Feliz Navidad, but just in whatever.
I want to wish you a Merry Pinto.
I don't want to fart all night. I don't want to fart all night.
We're going to have to edit out the last 10 minutes.
That's all I got. That's it. That's the end of the story. That's the Pinto. So last call, gentlemen.
No.
I found this funny.
That happened so quick.
Lee Iacocca has written several books, including a 2007 one called Where Have All the Leaders Gone? In it, he discusses the characteristics of a good leader, citing these C words. Don't get any ideas. Curiosity, creative, communicate, character, courage, conviction, charisma, competent, common sense, and the one he regards as most important,
Cunnilingus.
crisis.
Not combustible.
I guess it makes sense that he considers crisis most important, but maybe if he had used common sense or even character more, he wouldn't have opted to put human life, he would have opted to put human life above money. So cheers to all the business leaders out there who make sure to value the lives of people over company profits. Cheers. I'm leaving all the fart jokes in.
I want to know.
Have a good night, everybody.